The fate of one of the most troubled condo complexes is back before the Orange County Commission.
It's been a problem spot for years with crime, fires, and money problems. The county is considering forcing the sale of TymberSkan to allow for redevelopment.
County commissioners say they've made investments to help the area, but it's not enough.
We've been asking folks to come out and help us save the community because as we see the system's not trying to save the community, they're trying to run us away from this place.
TymberSkan Condominiums on the Lake was established to really be an attractive property just west of downtown Orlando. And it was, kind of a middle-class neighborhood that was going to be really nice on the west side of town. When we had the hurricanes in 2004, created a lot of damage on some of the condominiums. And the property began to deteriorate more and more, people moving out, getting foreclosed upon. And when that happened, some crime elements started to come into place. They had a dysfunctional gate. We can't stop people from coming in, so construction crews dumping stuff instead of taking it to the dump, landscaping crews dumping stuff, criminals coming there, doing drug deals and then leaving. It just was in really rough shape, and it's because of some external pressure to take advantage of a vulnerability that this community had. It went from 300 active units down to 50. And some of those full buildings were only partially torn down. You had a dedicated group of residents who said, I don't want to leave, but you didn't have a lot of people saying, I want to come. When one of the leaders there decided, let's make this at least a safe place to be, things started to stabilize. But the reputation didn't improve because people got used to thinking of this as a kind of only a negative place. And so the bad press continued. Summer after I became missions pastor here at Discovery Church, we had a member who was one of the stalwart leaders who was really insistent that property remain. And she approached me and said, look, we need some help. And so that started a weekly prayer meeting, and we began to invite residents to that.
It opened my mind up again to try to let Christ back into my life and just know that he will work miracles and show me the way.
We would pray, and we would do that for an hour, and then we started tagging on to the end of that meeting, kind of a planning meeting for what could happen next. So we organized Service Project Day, where we would invite guys from the men's ministry here at Discovery Church to come out and do some projects. So those were mainly cleanup projects. We built a gate to block off one part of the property so people could stop dumping. There were some small repairs, some painting, some landscaping, things like that. People caught a vision for what was possible if this place was fully revitalized. The whole tenor of the place, even though it's still rough around the edges, began to look more attractive, and pride of ownership started to come out. So we had a barbecue. We weren't going to actually do any other work besides eat some food, have some fun. What was discovered is near the barbecue, someone had brought a UCF student that was killed on another part of town, and she was put there. At this point, the county had developed a plan, and it was to take the property into receivership. The problem was, with the amount of compensation they were going to offer, there was no place else they could buy or live. And so when those questions were asked, they were like, we're going to have to go somewhere else.
I'm like, well, they can't do this. They've got to do something better for us. And so everybody in here was frightened. I was worried we weren't going to have no place to go.
I got a call from the residents saying, can you come and be with us when we go in front of the Orange County Board of Commissioners next week? And I said, look, this is going to take a miracle, really, for this to change course. But we're going to pray, and we're going to ask God for his will to be done. And we're going to trust. And so people were believers and non-believers. We were setting out in that right before we went into the county chambers to just ask for God's grace and mercy and for him to show up.
We're trying to avoid going into receivership because a lot of homeowners have nowhere else to go.
We need your help so that people don't become homeless.
I really don't want to lose my home. I really don't want to end up on the streets.
What I'm asking for here is just that the receivership is delayed 6 months.
We have a plan in order to fix everything and comply with the new laws.
These are good, honest people. I plead with you to let them keep their homes.
You could tell by the commissioners' responses, they're very grateful, and they're like, our hearts go out. but we're pretty sure we need to take this into receivership to bring this to a new season.
Current living conditions, I hate to say it to the residents, they're not sustainable. The compassion part of our board says that we gotta help you.
Just as the sun gets higher in the sky, the hope began to rise. One by one, the commissioners started to change their opinion. At the end of the day, the decision was made to give the residents more time to address some of these concerns and to see what could happen next. This was absolutely going to go one way. It was very, very low chances, and I hope you all know this was God. This was God showing up on your behalf to say, yeah, here's some mercy, here's some grace. It was really, really awesome to see, and to see people that don't even know God, and some of them who do, just celebrating what their Lord had done. It was just such a beautiful moment.
It's a big relief, number one, and we still are doing a lot of work. There's still a lot of things we have to do.
Now the road have begun to be smooth. We try to do what we were sent by God to do.
There's slow and steady progress being made, and we're still coming alongside to do our part to, send some groups out to be helpful, but they're in a very different position now. They are slowly paying down their water bill and addressing the concerns of the county, so they're showing their capacity to make slow and steady progress. So whatever redevelopment effort happens there, they'll be more a part of that than just kind of watching it happen.
What I really learned about the residents here at TymberSkan is how passionate they are about where they live. They're persevering, and little by little, they're just laying bricks of making it bigger and better.
And it's absolutely essential that we learn to see places that look visually challenging or bad in our eyes, that there are people there, there are people in God's image there, that it behooves us to get to know. When those relationships happen, opportunity opens up. And to be a part of that really changes the trajectory of individual lives, family lives, and a whole community. A community in our town that's been written off for years can become a place of hope, and to be a part of that, I mean, that's going to buoy your faith.